Well, we're going to talk about that today, and we'll talk about it more tomorrow. So yeah, I noticed that a couple of people had already been looking up research or data or statistics. Yeah, we'll talk more about that tomorrow. So today we're talking about leads. Leads that work for persuasive essays. You can see that there are 4 different types of leads that you can use in your persuasive essay. And what we're going to start out doing is looking at these 4 different types of leads, and then we're going to glance back at the summer vacation essay and decide which type of lead that writer used. Okay? We're also going to look at other examples of these types of leads in small groups. And you're going to talk about which ones you liked and why you thought they were effective. So the first type of lead, what do we have up here? Who can read it for me? Peyton, what's it say right over here?
Include important facts and statistics such as percentages and survey results.
Right, so you could start right off in that first paragraph with statistics and facts in your lead. Okay? Things that are proven. You can prove if they, are, a fact, you can prove it, if it's true or if it's false by looking it up. Statistics, you can look them up. These are things you can prove. All right, Cooper, way in the back. Can you read the second one for me?
Start with an
anecdote.
The story snippet that introduces your topic.
That's right. So a little itty bitty anecdote. It's like a little itty story. It's a little snippet of a story. It's not a big long story, but it's a story. A lot of people who give speeches or, are addressing a crowd, they'll start with a little story first, and then they'll move on into their topic. So you could start with a little story that kind of introduces your topic. What's the third type of lead, Nolan?
Quote an authority on your topic.
Quote an authority. Now, the authority that you quote, you want to make sure that it's someone who we either know and we respect, or if it's a name we don't know, you might want to include their credentials. Do you know what credentials are? Bryson, what do you think?
Like maybe their job, like what they do.
Right, maybe what they do. So for example, my credentials, a lot of times you might, if someone signs something, they'll sign their name and then a comma and then whatever degrees they have. So like mine might be Mrs. Lori A. Black, comma, bachelor's degree in education, master's degree in education. You might have Mr. Tim Ziegler, comma, principal, Graham Middle School. You might have Mr. Matt Curtis, comma, superintendent of Graham local schools. You might have, I just went blank, what's your dad's name again? Jeremy. Mr. Jeremy Olson, comma, pastor of CCCU. Okay? So make sure that if you choose this one, you want to let us know who the authority is and maybe their credentials so we know if it's a valid point. If someone we could believe, it's a credible source. All right, what about the last one? What's the last one say, Kaylee?
Include some background information about your opinion and just details that grab the reader's attention.
Right. I think this one is one that I'm most comfortable using because I like to kind of fill people in on what's been going on in the past. And then this is where we are today. So this is including background information. Now, those 4 types of leads. Now look at the summer vacation essay. First paragraph of the summer vacation essay. Which type of lead do you think this student used? The final bell rings. It's the last day of school and summer has finally come. Students don't have to think about school for at least another 2.5 months. That's the way it should be. Which one of these 4 do you think that writer used? Kayla Smith? The anecdote? Okay, so were there any facts or statistics? Any numbers? No. An anecdote's a little story. Could you guys picture that in your mind?
Yeah.
Bells ringing, kids running out of school, what do their faces look like? They're throwing stuff, they're excited, they're running, it's a happy, happy, happy day. So you do that with a story. You can get a mental image in your mind. Were there any quotation marks? Nope, so it's not a quote. And is there any background information? In the past, no. So this was an anecdote. All right, good. So, yes?
For a lead, couldn't you use, ask a question and then, answer your
Yes, you could. And didn't we notice that within this essay about summer vacation, there were a lot of questions posed? Yes. All right, so now could you do me a favor and tuck that in that pocket, because here comes another handout. This handout is a handout with these 4 types of leads plus an example of each one. So start passing. And I'll give you, how about you go behind you? James, you and Albert get one and then pass that way. The 4 types of leads that are on the charts. Kaylee, make sure Chase gets one. And we're going to talk about these examples and these 4 types of leads, which ones you like, why you think they're effective. Thanks, Chase. And I think Zach might have a couple extra back there as well. All right, perfect. So these are the leads that work for persuasive essays. The first one we've already read up here on the charts, and I thank you for being polite and not noticing that I had importance instead of important. The first one on your handout, this is about including important facts and statistics. Would you read the example from a student? Kayla Davenport.
Don't diet, eat less, eat healthy. A survey by Gallup shows that 95% of people who go on a crash diet gain back the weight.
So within the first couple of sentences of this first paragraph of an essay, a kid actually started with a statistic or a fact. And the fact is, there was a survey done by Gallup. Have you ever heard Gallup polls? People talk about Gallup polls on the news, newspaper, the radio, on television. The Gallup poll is a nationwide survey. Do your parents ever answer the phone and they're like, hang on for a moment to answer a survey? Okay, that's an example of a Gallup poll. So this is including a statistic, a survey by Gallup, which adults would recognize that word Gallup. You may not as a Gallup poll, but parents would, adults would. And that's something everyone would recognize. Because adults would recognize it, it makes it more valid, more believable, more credible, okay? And the Gallup poll showed that 95% of people who go on a crash diet, real quick weight loss, end up gaining their weight back. What do you think this person's topic is for their entire essay, just based upon their lead? What do you think they're arguing for or against? Bryson?
Don't go on a diet, eat less, and eat healthy.
Yeah, and I don't even, yeah, you're right. It's just eat less, make healthy choices. Because if you go on crash diets, what's the statistics say, Bryson?
A survey by Gallup shows that 95% of people who go on crash diets.
So would it be safe to say almost everybody, 95% of people gain their weight back? That's a pretty good statistic to just, boom, right up at the beginning. You know, hey, you might be setting yourself up for failure. 95% of the people who go on a crash diet gain their weight back. So when you're able to have a statistic or a fact by something that's recognizable like Gallup, that's going to really add some credibility or believability to your argument, okay? So that's number 1. We now have number 2, the anecdote, number 3, quoting an authority, and number 4, using background information. What I'm going to ask you to do is we're going to be in groups of 3, and you need to sit like in a triangle. I want each one of you to take turns reading each of those 3 examples, and then as a group I want you to decide which ones you like and why you think it's effective. So go ahead and turn so you're in a group of 3. Yeah, your knees might even need to kind of touch each other. And then if you need, you might need to get up and move. Bryson, how about you turn right around there by Heidi and Maria? Laurel, how about you join these folks right here? It's right here in that before. Can you join them?
Oh, yeah. I think it was just fair. If that includes the reason that or maybe things about cell phones or Android. If she didn't have that cell phone, she would have been probably should yeah, because if nobody's there, you might need it. Yeah. You have it right. Which one do you think are most effective? Which one's the I think it's about how after school books help kids stay out of quote authority. After you
Is that what you're doing? You're like talking about how you write one? Okay. Like the
we should have needed a dress.
Which one do you think are the most effective?
Okay. Let's turn back around. Okay, our second type of a lead for persuasive essay is the anecdote. Would you read the student example of an anecdote? Tyler. Imagine.
Imagine that Sally, a student, is the only one in the locker room. Everyone else is in the gym. She trips and falls. She can't move because her leg hurts too much. Her leg hurts too much. But fortunately, her cell phone has candy, so she texts her mom. Who calls the school? Within an hour, Sally's in an emergency room having her leg x-rayed.
Okay. Who can tell me what they think the topic of that essay is? What are we trying to persuade people to do or say yes to?
Have your phone at school?
You want to have your phone with you at school all day long, right? That's an example of an anecdote. Can you picture it?
Yeah.
There's Sally on the ground in the locker room. Help, help. But nobody hears her. It's kind of like the commercial for the I've fallen and I can't get up thing, right? So at least she's got her cell phone. Wouldn't that make a great commercial? Yeah. Okay, good. Question or comment about that? Or do you want to read the next one?
I have a comment.
Okay, what's that?
I think that it can maybe be like, make sure you clean up after yourself.
Oh, because she tripped and fell?
She tripped over
Possibly.
something else.
But I think because they're saying, fortunately, which is another word for luckily,
Yeah.
she's got her cell phone. Whips it out, calls mom. An hour later, she's getting answer it. Okay, pretty good. How about the third one? Quote an authority. Read the example, the student example, Maria.